Hello, this is video number 5 on using the Access database for the Mekong Fish Network Standard Sampling Program. And in this video we'll go over how to enter a single datasheet from start to finish. So right now in the database I've already entered one datasheet, which is shown here as one record of 1. And that datasheet has 2 different gear types listed. So now I'd like to add a whole new datasheet, and I can do that by clicking this button here, Add Datasheet. So this will bring up a completely blank screen and show me that this is now record number 2 of 2. So for this new datasheet, we'll start at the very beginning with the village name, which for this example is Bon Sakai. Next we'll enter the fisher's name, which is Mr. Tang. And then we'll enter the fisher ID number. Since this is Bon Sakai, we'll enter SK and then a fisher ID number. Next we'll enter the sample date. This datasheet is from the 20th of November 2013. I press enter and it converts the date for me so I can make sure that I have the correct month. Next I'll enter the water level information, which was entered as rising. And for the weather information, on this day it was raining. And then the total number of gear types on this datasheet is 2. So next I'll enter the gear type information for the first gear type, which is a drop door trap. So this is a trap. However, the fisher did not enter the length and height of the trap, so I'll leave that blank. And if I get that information later, I can go back and fill it in here. So next for the start time, we have to make sure for the time that there are 2 character fields here, so we have to make sure we're over to the far left to start entering. So the time is 6 a.m., so 0600, and press enter and it shows up as 6 a.m. Then the end time is 6 p.m. and this is the 24-hour clock for data entries, so we enter that as 1800 hours. Hit return and it shows up as 6 p.m. and calculates that this gear type fished for 12 hours. And then I would next enter the fishing method, but that was left blank on this datasheet. And then I would also enter the habitat information here, but that was also left blank. So I'll press escape and leave that field blank. Finally, I'll scroll down to enter the catch information. However, on this day, this gear type did not catch any fish, so this whole field was left blank. So just to make sure that other people don't think I forgot to enter the catch information, I can make a note in this field over here, the notes field, something like, no fish were caught in the drop door trap. So that lets me know that that there are no fish to enter for this gear type. So here we can see that we're looking at gear type 1 of 1 for this is for the second data sheet in the database. So now I've finished entering my first gear type. And now to add the second gear type on this datasheet, I click the button add gear. So the header information stays the same, and now I can enter gear type number 2, which is a long line. So that's a hook and line type of gear. Number of units is blank, and then I'll select long line, and the number of hooks is 10, and the hook size is 8. So next I would enter the start and end time. However, the fisher did not enter that on this data sheet, so I can't calculate the total number of hours fished. Likewise, the fishing method and habitat fished have been left blank on this data sheet, so I'll leave those fields blank. And now on to the species information. So first I'll enter the total weight of the catch, which is 0.52. And then this is not a subsample. So next I'll enter the fish species, which is Begarius, species uncertain. The number of individuals is 1, and the weight is 0.52. Next I'll enter the basket type, and the fisher has drawn a line through this field indicating that they used no basket, so I'll select N for no basket. Finally, I'll enter the standard length of the fish, which is 20 centimeters. So now I can review the data sheet and make sure I have all the information entered. I've got my notes section filled out here, and this is the species information for the long line gear type. If I want to go back to the first gear type, I click previous gear, and this brings up the drop door trap, and again shows me I'm looking at gear type 1 out of 2. And so if I think that all the information is entered, that would complete the data entry for this data sheet.